Electric car sales have been surging in Turkey since the start of the year. A growing number of customers are turning to battery-powered models, which may be more expensive off the lot, but are a lot cheaper to run. While the boom is still in its infancy, local companies are investing heavily to support the industry's growth. Paolo Montecillo has more.
It comes with the many bells and whistles available in a car in its price range. But its best feature is under the hood. This $40,000 SUV, built by British car maker MG and sold in Turkey, is all electric. So while the price tag is about 10% higher than diesel or petrol counterparts, it's much cheaper to run.
To charge the battery, it costs around $2.50. That's good for 300 kilometers in city driving. For maintenance for a whole year, all you need to spend is less than $50.
That compares to $30 for a full tank of petrol, which should keep an SUV running for about 400 kilometers. Companies at the eDrive exhibit in Istanbul say the volatility in oil prices has made electric vehicles, or EVs, more appealing. Sales rose more than fivefold in Turkey between January and September to almost 1,200 units. That means there are now around 2,500 plug-ins on the road. To fuel that growth and profit from it, companies are putting up ports where EVs can get juice. There are currently 3,000 publicly accessible charging stations like this in Turkey. That's more than the number of electric vehicles on the road. It's a chicken or egg situation that local companies hope will hatch into a sustainable transportation ecosystem. The firm B-Charge installs plug-in ports in places like shopping malls and private car parks. Despite the current glut, it's not slowing down operations because the company sees EV sales growing exponentially.
Our expectations for, let's say, 2030, for the year 2030, out of all the passenger cars, 20% of them to be either EVs or chargeable hybrid cars. Right now, as passenger cars, there are about 13 million cars in Turkey. So roughly 2.5 million of them will be EVs by the time when it's 2030.
The Turkish government is also supporting the adoption of electric cars with the development of the country's first homegrown auto company, TOG. It's invested $3.4 billion in the firm, which is expected to produce more than 1 million units over the next decade.
We've dreamed of an automobile whose rights belong to our country, and that's produced with our designers and engineers' efforts, and with national technology.
TOG plans to start mass production in the coming months, with cars hitting the road late next year. Government agencies will be among its first customers, but officials are confident demand will be strong among Turkish consumers. Paolo Montecillo, TRT World, Istanbul.
Hasan Tufan is a transportation and communication specialist at the Turkish Transportation and Infrastructure Ministry. TRT World senior business producer Paolo Montecillo spoke to him on the sidelines of the eDrive exhibit in Istanbul, where they talked about what the government wants to achieve in the adoption of electric vehicles.
The ultimate goal should be reducing the emissions. In terms of the climate change adaptation. Because the electric vehicles is just a tool to achieve the targets, especially the carbon emission targets. So we have to focus on the climate goals and also the reduction of the emissions in cities and in all environments.
Why are electric vehicles better for Turkish consumers than cars that run on fossil fuels?
For consumers, because it's quiet in terms of the cars. When you look at the direct benefit, because it's efficient in terms of the engine working, running the engine, because electric vehicles don't have an internal combustion engine, and it has no losses like the conventional engines have. So also the health benefits are very important, because these cars helps the reduction of the emissions. And when you look at the long term, it may change the ambient air quality. So when you improve the air quality, you have the possibility of the probability of having diseases, especially causing from the emissions, will be reduced. So there are this kind of wider and external benefits that's not seen in the short term, but in the long term, there will be more benefits.